If you work in university maintenance, Granger considers you an MVP because your playbook ensures your arena is always ready for tip-off. And Granger is your trusted partner, offering the products you need all in one place, from HVAC and plumbing supplies to lighting and more, and all delivered with plenty of time left on the clock, so your team always gets the win. Call 1-800-GRANGER, visit Granger.com, or just stop by. Granger, for the ones who get it done. If you work in university maintenance, Granger considers you an MVP because your playbook ensures your arena is always ready for tip-off. And Granger is your trusted partner, offering the products you need all in one place, from HVAC and plumbing supplies to lighting and more, and all delivered with plenty of time left on the clock, so your team always gets the win. Call 1-800-GRANGER, visit Granger.com, or just stop by. Granger, for the ones who get it done.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for listening. Thank you for downloading. And thank you for subscribing to the latest edition of the 12 Kyle podcast. I'm 12 Kyle. Check this out. On this episode, what I'm going to talk about is my first gig, my first job, if you will. We all work, or at least most of us. And I'm willing to bet that 99% of you listening to this podcast has had at least one job. Through your lifetime, I'm sure we'll probably all work different jobs. There's no guarantee that the job that you are on right now is going to be the job that, you'll work the rest of your life. The days of working for the plant for 30 years and retiring, in your hometown, those days are long gone. But I got to thinking about, some things that happened, when I was growing up or whatever like that. And I've already given you an episode on my first crib, which was, this was maybe at the time of this recording, probably a couple of years ago, like a year and a half ago. Anyway, it's in the archives. Go check it out. But yeah, so I started thinking about like my first job. And everybody remembers their first job, whether or not the first job is, bagging groceries, working at McDonald's, selling drugs. Just joking. I would hope that none of you took up pharmaceutical sales, although there probably are a few of you that did. Nonetheless, it got me to think about my first job. Like, my first, now, full disclosure, my first job was to sell Kirby vacuum cleaners. But I don't count that job because I literally had that job for less than a day before I quit. I was just like, nah, this ain't for me. And I mean, Kirby vacuum cleaners, if you're not familiar, Kirby vacuum cleaners at the time in 90? Was that 90? I want to say it was like 1990. I was a junior in high school. At that time, like, Kirby vacuum cleaners was like the, Mercedes-Benz of vacuum cleaners. Like, you could pick up dirt from like your ancestors in your house, and if you just vacuum your carpet. But the vacuum cleaners were like $2,000, crazy expensive, and I wasn't feeling being a salesman, so I quit that job. So that don't count. Unlike a lot of people, I didn't have a job in high school. A lot of my friends had jobs in high school. Like I said, the aforementioned McDonald's or Burger King, or maybe they worked at the mall selling jeans or whatever. And I came up in an era where, there wasn't the internet. So it wasn't like I could, sell Perry Ellis cologne from the comfort of my house or from a keyboard. So no, I didn't work. I was in a situation where I didn't have to work, to be honest. My mom my mom worked. My parents were divorced. My parents got divorced when I was going on 14. So uh my mom and dad worked. My dad paid child support, and we weren't we weren't wealthy by any stretch of the imagination. We weren't poor either. We were just regular middle class black people. Um and probably on the lower end of the middle class, but nonetheless, um there was no pressing need in my house for me to work. Uh Unlike some kids that I went to school with, um you know, they had to work because they had to provide an income for their family. Like I can distinctly remember um, a couple of my friends. I won't call them friends. I would say associates, cats that I played little league football with. Um, when it was time to play JV and varsity football, they were like, "Nah, I got to work." And I remember this one kid, and for those of you listening, some of you know, but most of you should know if you listen. I played football in high school and in college at South Carolina State University. And when I was in high school, there was a kid. Now, granted, I played college football on an athletic scholarship. I initially walked on and then earned a scholarship. But there was a kid at my high school that played wide receiver, the same position as me, that I thought personally was better than me. And like I loved his game. I loved watching him play. He was my teammate. I was like, I just knew like he could play college ball. And we played JV football together, and it was time to go to varsity. I was like, "Man, you coming to practice?" He's like, "Nah, man, I got a job." And I was like, "Job?" I was like, "Why are you working?" He's like, "Because my mom needs the money." And it hit me like his mom really needed him to work to help pay the rent and the bills and stuff like that. And we didn't have those kind of problems. So, um, I felt bad for him, but I felt like, damn, like he could have, looking back on it now, there's no doubt in my mind, had he played high school football, he would have gone on to college and played college football. No doubt in my mind. Cause he was that good, I think. But nonetheless, because I played football and because we didn't, there was no pressing need for me to have money, I didn't work. So I just, I played football and I chilled. And I mean, I was in other activities and stuff at school, but um, there was no need for me to work, right? And then so I go to South Carolina State and I'm playing football and I can't work. So, whatever money I had, that was it. Like, or whatever money my mom sent, that was it. So, I go to the ATM on campus, get my little $20 out, and I feel like I was rich. Oh man, those were the days. But at the end of my playing career, I was still in school and I still had a semester to go. And it was at that time I was like, all right, I'm gonna move off campus. I'm gonna move off campus and get a job. And I did just that. And the job that I got was at a video store. Funny concept, a video store by the name of Video Warehouse in Orangeburg, South Carolina. Um, Video stores were very popular back then. Listen, kids, there was a time that you had to actually leave your house to get a movie to bring it back to your house to watch the movie. This was before Netflix. This was before streaming services and everything else. Um, Video Warehouse was just that. It was a place where you could rent videos, and then ultimately we were renting video games as well as adult movies. And I'll touch on that in just a second. So yeah, I worked at Video Warehouse for the better part of about a year, I think, year and a half. Yeah, about a year and a half. And it was cool, man. It was cool. Video Warehouse was at the time a mom and pop type spot, and I think there were between South Carolina, Georgia. Between South Carolina and Georgia, I think there were like 7 or 8 different stores in different locations. And it's pretty profitable. Their main competition at the time was Blockbuster Video. And so there were some distinct differences between Video Warehouse and Blockbuster, but Video Warehouse did pretty good, relatively speaking, compared to the mammoth called Blockbuster. But I was officially hired there as an assistant manager. And that was cool, man. I had some responsibility, not a lot, but I had some responsibilities. And it was a real cool thing because like the kids, I shouldn't call it kids, but the people that I work with, all of us went to school together. We were all students. Mostly all of us were students at South Carolina State University. So, it was a very good first job. You did things like sweep the floors. You had to make sure that, the videotapes, because one of the things that they wanted people to do, they wanted people to, when you got a video, obviously the video had to be at the start of the video because it was so annoying to have to rewind the video. But you wanted to make sure that the videos were returned and rewound to the beginning of whatever said movie. But we did a lot of things, put out tags, and I'll touch on that in just a second as well. But not really a lot of great responsibility, but it was just a real cool environment. And I came in contact with a lot of people in the greater Orangeburg area, from different walks of life. And it was really, really cool and a great experience. I think it was the best first job I think I could have asked for. How much did I make? I can't remember. I want to say, and there's some in this room. I don't know. Is it over there? I don't think it's over there. Somewhere in my office, in my house, there are check stubs. I can't find, and I wanted to look at it before I started recording, but I didn't want to take too much time trying to find it. But it's somewhere in this room or in this closet. I want to say I made about somewhere between $110 and $125 a week. And I wasn't working, a 40-hour work week, but for me, that was a lot of money. Man, I used to feel good on payday, man. So yeah, I got paid pretty good, I guess, at least for the times. I mean, I don't know what that equates to per hour, but maybe $5 an hour, I guess. I don't know. I think it was something like that, like $5 an hour. And here's a funny story about my paychecks. Well, at one point in time, this was I don't know, a couple months after I started working, I got paid and I didn't have a chance to go to the bank and put the money in the bank account. So I just, I think I got paid it was 4 weeks in a row. So I had a month's worth of paychecks that I never deposited. And I literally was riding around Orangeburg, South Carolina with a month's worth of paychecks that haven't been cashed or deposited. And I remember talking to one of my homeboys, shout out my boy Mo. Mo was like, "Hey man," he's like, I think he saw him. He went to look for something in the glove compartment in my car, and he saw the check. He's like, "Hey man, what you doing with these checks?" And I was like, "Oh, those are my checks. I got to deposit them." He's like, "Man, you haven't deposited your checks?" I was like, "No, I'll get around to it." And he's like, "Bro," he's like, "if you don't deposit the checks, they will void these checks. Like you don't work for, Bank of America. This is like a mom and pop place. Like when they cut those checks, they assume that you're going to either cash them or deposit them." And so the running joke was like, I'm so oblivious to money that I was just riding around with, a those checks probably totaled up to about $450, $500, something like that. And I was just riding around with money in my glove box. And it wasn't like I had a whole bunch of money in the bank, because I didn't. I might have had $50, $60 in the bank. I never got around to it. I was like, oh yeah, I'll deposit the checks, but I didn't need the money. So we still laugh about that to this day. But yeah, folks, deposit your checks. I guess. And there was no such thing as direct deposit back then too. Video Warehouse itself, the type of videos that you could rent there, obviously movies, I mentioned video games, any type of movie that you wanted. I mean, action, comedy. The store was pretty much sectioned off, like it had huge sections, just like you would see kind of like in Blockbuster. You had sections and you had video games. And then at one point they were renting video game systems. You could rent was it a Sega system? You could rent a Sega system or a Nintendo system. And so that was cool, because you got an influx of kids and college kids and little kids that would come in and, rent videos and stuff like that, and video games. And the way that the store was set up, like, let's give you an example. So like if you wanted to get an action movie, you go to the action section, and let's say you wanted to rent Die Hard, the movie. What you would see would be a box, the box that Die Hard actually came in with, Bruce Willis on the cover, so forth and so on. And then there was a piece of tape and a tag, where the tag is sticking, is stuck to the box basically. And the rule was at Video Warehouse for you to bring the tag to the counter, not the box, because you have to leave the box there. And when you take the tag, people are to assume or realize that that movie's no longer there. So it was a pretty simple system when you think about it. And because the whole process in the store, everything is recorded. So at the counter, when a customer would come up, there are microphones in the counters so that you can hear the transaction. And then there's cameras. There were cameras above us, above our shoulders at the counter, that would record the transaction. And the reason why they recorded the transactions, all the transactions, is because you're always going to have somebody come in and rent a video and say, hey, I don't remember renting a video. Somebody must have stole my account, or somebody did something fraudulently. If that were the case, you could always go back to the tape, because a tape, the recording was, like I said, a day's work was always recorded. So from the time the store opened until the time the store closed, there was a videotape that was recording everything, a real live VHS tape. And so, tapes were kept each day for security reasons or whatever like that. So, it wouldn't be nothing for somebody to come in and say, hey, well, you got a $5 late charge on this account for renting Rambo. And then, the customer say, oh, I didn't rent Rambo, and then they say, well, it shows here that, Rambo was rented on your account on December 5th. And then if they went to argue it or dispute it, then you say, okay, pull the tape. So you go pull the December 5th tape. You'd fast forward until that point. And then once you got to the point of, because it records the time of transaction and everything like that. Oh, it was checked out at 1:35. So you pop in the tape, fast forward the security tape to 1:35 that afternoon. And lo and behold, there you are renting the tape that you're sitting here lying about because you don't want to pay the $5 late charge. That happened quite a bit. Not a lot, but at least I can think of at least 10 times where it happened, where people just make bold-faced lies because they don't. I mean, bro, you rented the tape. You know that you rented the tape. Or now there were a couple of situations where I do remember distinctly. There was one situation where a tape was rented and a late charge was placed on it because the movie came back late, and the guy disputed even renting the movie. Come to find out, his wife rented the movie, but he never saw the movie. You dig what I'm saying? So his wife had some explaining to do, because the movie, according to him, never made it in his house. Hey, bro, they ain't got nothing to do with me. But yeah, that's how it works. So people would get tags, and every now and then you'd have some person who didn't read the signs, and they would come up to the counter with the box and like, no, we don't need a box. We just need the tag. And this was always funny because, again, as I mentioned a little earlier, we did rent adult movies. Now, because Video Warehouse rented adult movies, the adult movies could not be on and because there were boxes, the box shows, what it was or what the movie was. Those boxes could not be on display in the main part of the store. So at Video Warehouse, there was a back room. And the back room, big sign says, adult enter to rent adult movies, must be over 18 to enter. Please bring tags. And so, there'd be some, what was so funny, man, you would see people coming and that they want to rent adult movies, but they kind of browsing around. I mean, like they're in the kids section, they're looking at Barney videos, and then they go over here to the comedy section, and then they kind of mosey on back to the back room. And I mean, like, because from the counter, you can clearly see the back room, and there's a security camera in there, so you can see who's in there. So it's not like you can go in there and get freaky or anything like that, because it's an open space. But there's boxes with adult, and I mean, hey, whatever you were into, Video Warehouse had it. So if you were into interracial, if you were into BBW, if you were into Asian, black, gay, whatever, any type of porn you wanted, Video Warehouse had it. So what was interesting was, like, there would always be, I mean, it without fail, there would always be some idiot who would be wanting to rent a couple of adult movies, and they come up there with the boxes. I'm like, bro, we just need a tag. And so also, just for security purposes, we had to call out, and if you were renting Rambo and Boomerang, we had to call out as we were ringing it up. You had to call out what the movie was, so the video camera and the microphones can pick up what it is that the people are renting. That way, nobody can't come back and say, well, hey, I never rented this movie, because I gave it to you and it's on tape, and we're recording what we're saying. So say, for instance, you come to the counter, put the money down. All right, put these tags down. All right, and then so what I would say is, okay, thank you, sir. Let me see, give me your account number. So I put the account number in, put that in, and then I said, okay, well, you got Die Hard, you got Boomerang, and you got I don't know, Staying Alive. And so I would get the tags, and then get the movies, get the tags from them, put the tags down, get the movies, put the tags in a box, and kind of go from there. Get the movies for them from the back, from behind me, and check them out or whatever like that. Same for adult movies. But you couldn't say you got Debbie sucking Dallas. You had to say, like, you have two adult movies like that. So that was always funny. And like I said, one of the funniest things is seeing how, because everybody, that you want to go to the adult movie section, you want to go back to the back room, but people kind of take their time. I've had some memorable moments at Video Warehouse. Probably one of my most memorable moments was actually spawned a friendship that I have to this day, brotherhood, if you will. My boy Juan and I met when we were in school, and I didn't know Juan. Like, Juan came in one day, and he came in with his girlfriend at the time, and and it's funny because he came in, we kind of made eye contact. Juan's from the Bronx, and you could tell, like, from the giddy up, that he was a New York dude. So he walks in with his girl, and he kind of looks at me. I'd say, what's up? And he says, what's up? And he and his girl, they walk straight to the back room, right? And so they get a couple of videos or whatever. And Juan comes to the front with, and keep in mind, I don't know him. I think I may have seen him once or twice before around, but I don't know him. So he comes with like 3 boxes. And I was like, nah, man, you got to put the boxes back. We just need a tag. And he kind of looked at me like, why you say that? And I was like, and I don't know. I didn't think I said anything wrong, but I said something. That's what I said to him. And so I rang him up or whatever like that. And then like the next day, I see him as I'm coming out of my apartment. His apartment is like right next to mine. And I'm like, oh, that's my man from the that's dude from the video store with the with the 3 boxes. And so, we kind of make eye contact. We say what's up. And then subsequently we, see each other again somewhere. We start talking, and it spawned a friendship that's been, so strong. And like I said, I consider him to be a brother. And he's the godfather to my youngest son, Brandon. And we still laugh about that to this day, because he swears up and down that I was trying to be funny. And I was like, bro, I said, there's a big ass sign that said, bring the tags only. And you bought 3 boxes up there because you and your girl want to get freaky. And he felt like I was trying to show him up. And I was like, man, I didn't even know you like that. So like I said, he's one of my best friends, and we still laugh about that to this day. What else? Another memorable moment, which involves one of my best friends as well, Dr. Jamel. You guys heard her on this podcast about a year ago. She came on to talk about COVID. Long before Dr. Jamel was Dr. Jamel. Dr. Jamel was a student at Duke University, and I know, was she in med school? I think she might have been in med school at the time, and she was back home for something in our hometown of Florence, South Carolina. Now, Florence is about an hour and a half from Orangeburg. And so she called me one day, and I was at work, and she was pregnant at the time with my godson. So she calls me. She's mad at her baby daddy. And she's like livid. And I'm like, Jamel, calm down. She was like, no, I'm just sick of him, blah, 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 blah. So we're going back. So I'm taking this call at work, right? And so we're talking. And then so she was like, I just gotta go for it. I gotta get out of this house. I gotta go for a drive. And I was like, all right, well, I'll call you later. And so I hang up the phone. And, so I'm at work, I'm chilling. And man, like the next thing I know, I look up and I see a brown skinned woman in a white shirt walking, a pregnant, very much like a 7-8 month pregnant brown skinned woman walking in to the store with a white shirt on. And I looked and I was like, nah, that ain't who I think it is. And it was Jamel. And I was like, what are you doing here? And she was like, well, I wanted to get in the car. So I just got in the car and started driving, and I just ended up here. And I was like, what the hell? I was like, you ain't supposed to be driving. I mean, like, she literally was like 8 months pregnant. I was like, you ain't supposed to be driving. What are you doing here? And she was like, I was just mad. I just needed to come down here. So I took a quick lunch break and we left for about an hour. We went and got something to eat and talked and laughed. And I was like, man, take your ass home. I was like, you ain't supposed to even be here. And so we still laugh about that to this day. What other memories? Oh, we had a situation where I mentioned my boy Mo. Mo, again, one of my boys, one of my best friends. Mo actually applied for a job at Video Warehouse, and with me being assistant manager, I wanted to hire him, and the manager wanted to hire him. And I remember one of the other assistant managers asking me, it was like, well, Mo's your friend. We know that you guys are close. Can you be hard on him? Can you reprimand him? Can you fire him if you have actually have to? And I was like, that's my man. I said, he's not going to come here. I said, our friendship is bigger than a job. I was like, it's not going to be any issue or whatever like that. And so Mo gets hired, and Mo was a good employee, man. He was on time. He did everything. A lot of times we ride to work together and stuff. And, it was a great experience for us. And, but one day in particular, I don't know what happened because I was in another room and I came in the main room near the counter, and Mo was getting into it with one of our other coworkers, this kid named Poochie. Don't laugh. And so I don't, and here's the thing, like Poochie's girlfriend also worked with us, and she was one of the assistant managers. And so like they were arguing about something, and then it got to the point where Poochie wanted to fight. And we were like, man, like, what is this dude's problem? Like, why? And don't get me wrong, I thought Poochie was cool. I never had no beef with Poochie. Shout out to Poochie. And so he and Mo are going back and forth. And then he says, Mo, I ain't scared of you. He was like, you must think you tough because you play football. When he said that, I fell out laughing. Mo started laughing in his face. Like everybody in the store started, and luckily it wasn't any customers in the store. We just started laughing because like that's like the corniest thing to say. You think you're tough because you play football. And I mean, I don't have any doubt in my mind that Mo would have busted Poochie's ass in there, but it was just hilarious, man. We laughed and laughed. Me and Mo still laugh about that to this day. Poochie's girlfriend didn't find that funny at all, but she didn't find the fact funny that Mo was actually about to beat Poochie's ass. But it was cool. What else? Oh, last memorable moment actually didn't happen when I was there. I was actually off work that particular day. Video Warehouse was about to close. There were two people in the store. My man Rico, and I can't remember who else was in the store. Rico. Well, there was one assistant manager guy who was working there, and I think he had gotten fired. He had gotten fired because he was like real slack. He was an assistant manager. He was coming in late. He was. I think he was getting high. I'm not sure. Let's just call him Tron. To protect the guilty. So Tron was getting high, and he, like I said, he got fired or whatever. So the store's about to close. Tron comes into the store and he's saying what's up, and he knows that, he knows how it is in the store. You counting the money because that's what you do at the end of the night. You count up the money, you sweep, you put the videos away, make sure all the tags and stuff have been put back in the boxes or places where they need to be, and then you shut it down for the night. And it was about, I guess, like 11:55 or something like that, 11:58. It was like right before the store was about to close. Man, Tron comes in there and he pulls out a gun. Now, keep in mind, Tron knows Rico. It's not like Rico's a stranger. Like they had just been hanging out, like, I don't know, when Tron worked there, which was like maybe a month earlier. And Tron had been an employee. He had been there, I think, as long as I've been there, maybe a little longer. He was somebody that the owner and people trusted or whatever like that. And Tron proceeds to rob the place. And he's like, give me the money, blah, 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 blah. You won't get hurt. So, and the Rico and other people in the store, like, we can't believe you doing this. Like, you got to be kidding me. Like, bro, you were just working here. How are you robbing this store? Like, and so Tron robbed the store and got away, and they called the cops. And I don't know. Maybe you tell me if I'm going to rob a place, I'm probably not going home. But Tron robbed the place and went home, and the cops caught him at home. And keep in mind, because Tron was a former employee, all of his home and personal information, all that stuff is still in the system. So it didn't take long for the Orangeburg police to find him. And so he got arrested later that night at home after stealing, a couple $100, or it might have been $1,000. I don't know how much it was, but that was funny. It wasn't funny for Rico, but it was funny nonetheless. And I saw Tron a couple of years ago. I saw him from a distance. He didn't see me, but I wasn't gonna say nothing to him. But yeah, it was a great job. It was a great job. I loved it. It was my first job. That job actually helped me move to Atlanta, because I had some experience as far as being an assistant manager. And my second job was the job that moved me to Atlanta. I moved in 1997, and I became a assistant. I got hired as an assistant manager at Champ Sports in Lenox Mall. I'm sure most of you, if you've been to Atlanta, you're familiar with Lenox Mall. But yeah, this was a great job, man. I shout out to the V-Dub. That's what we used to call it, the V-Dub. Video Warehouse was dope, man. Obviously, as years progressed and technology came, stores like Video Warehouse and Blockbuster ultimately became obsolete because why pay a membership? Why pay for? I think the memberships free. I think the memberships were free. Yeah, the memberships were free. Why go rent a video when you can get it on Blu-ray disc, or you can stream it, and that stuff became obsolete. And stores like that, Video Warehouse, quickly went out of. I know the one in Orangeburg went out of business. There's the other 7 or 8 stores, they went out of business too. And then subsequently you had stores like Blockbusters, which were Video Warehouse's biggest competitor. They went out of business too. So but for the time that it was there, it was great business, a great business model, and a lot of great memories, and honestly, a great first job. So you get no complaints from me. Again, shout out to Video Warehouse. That's going to do it for me, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for checking out this edition of the 12 Kyle podcast. Be sure to subscribe to the podcast, because from time to time we will drop bonus episodes that drop on Sunday, so you don't want to miss those. Those drop at Sunday at 12 a.m. Again, that's going to do it for me. I'm your boy 12 Kyle. I'll catch you guys next time. 5,000.
When you manage procurement for multiple facilities, every order matters. But when it's for a hospital system, they matter even more. Grainger gets it and knows there's no time for managing multiple suppliers and no room for shipping delays. That's why Grainger offers millions of products in fast, dependable delivery, so you can keep your facility stocked, safe, and running smoothly. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
If you work in university maintenance, Grainger considers you an MVP, because your playbook ensures your arena is always ready for tip-off. And Grainger is your trusted partner, offering the products you need all in one place, from HVAC and plumbing supplies to lighting and more, and all delivered with plenty of time left on the clock, so your team always gets the win. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, visit Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.